You stop by and then you don't do or say anything. At least stop by, like, and then share. And you know what? I'm gonna make that a rule for myself. When I stop at somebody's stream, and if I click on their stream, stop by, like, share, and at least say something. Or just stop by, like, and then share. It's just common courtesy. Battle Beast, welcome to my realm. Again, Virgo, stop. You're doing it again. Oh boy. Let's just go over what I have planned for today because man, we gotta get things rolling. Let's see here. I'll save that for another time. Uh yes. I remember now. Let's see here. Let's talk about phone and computer usage at a workplace. Raise your hands, hooves, or paws if you fully understand why companies in general limit phone usage. If you don't understand, good, because they don't even understand it. Now, some may say, oh, it's to control. Yes, but for the right type of company, company that cares for their employees, it's to keep everyone safe because you never know when you are in a serious situation where if someone comes out, in the building with a firearm or, if someone is going to steal from you or someone in the building or if you need to make a 911 call. So, if companies are using those extreme measures as an excuse as to why phones, should be limited in the workplace, like in computers, computer usage, I agree. What I don't agree with is when it happens, worldwide and it's not pretty much at least giving some leniency. Captain Audi, welcome to my realm. Giving some leniency based on the job, profession, career, whatnot. Now, I will admit, if it's a career, phones just put away. Just simple as that. If it's a job, that's kind of, a mixed bag. So, since no one has anything to say, I'll go ahead and state my thoughts on this. So, the pros that I thought of is efficient completion of work. So, let's just be real. We need our phones and we need the computer for certain jobs, especially when it comes to data entry, whatnot. And it has been shown and proven that you're able to get, your tasks done a lot more quickly. Well, some quickly than others, depending on their typing speed and, their attention to detail when it comes to, getting everything completed. So for some, once they're done with everything and after they literally complete all their tasks, what is there left for them to do? So, naturally speaking, as humans or whatever you call yourselves, you're going to check your phone. You're going to check what's going on in the news, and that's just normal. And I feel as long as you balance it out, what's the big deal, right? So it's faster. It is semi reliable. I say semi reliable because it's also like a pro and a con where sometimes it just doesn't work or you deal with a glitch and you have to contact tech support. Then you can't get on the internet. Or what if you deal with the weather and it knocks the power out? Then what? What if you're in a situation where, you know, there's a fire or there's tornado warning and you can't have access to the front desk phone? You're going to have to use your cell phone. So companies, and I do mean companies in general, are learning ways to not be so strict with this rule, but because there's so many, examples out there as to what happens when you see employees on their phones and whatnot, it kind of just makes everyone else's, life at a job, especially if it's a menial job, just torturous. Some, they say, oh, it's not a big deal. It just depends on the company, who you work for, and the disciplinary actions that are in place. Oliver Edis, welcome to my realm. It could also be a stress reliever. You need to check on, like, I don't know, a sick parent, or um, maybe you just want to check and see what's going on in the news. But this can also be, you know, in reverse order. So, because the cons are kind of like somewhat the same as the pros. So, the cons, right, of phone and computer usage at the workplace consists of distraction. Yes, it can be a distraction if not self monitored. So, for jobs that allow, workers to be on their phones if no one's around or whatnot, and like to be responsible, I recommend teaching them self monitoring skills. You know, set of timers, like with vibrations, so that way they know to, you know, hey, this, this many minutes just to check this out, and then after that, go back to doing what you're doing. So I feel like that could help to like help with distractions. And then there's just some individuals, like workers who are just have ADHD, you know. 951 Sergio, welcome to my realm. So, that one's a big con, but it's not as, you know, it's not as worrisome as a lot of companies want you to believe. Inefficient time waster, that's false, because if you're working on a job where it requires a computer, I understand, well, it's more, you're wasting, company time and whatnot. Again, it just depends. If the employee isn't, if they're done with all their tasks and there's no clients, what is there else for them to do? Thorns Duchy, it's been a while. Welcome to my realm. So I get it, but at the same time, you know, the higher ups and whatnot have to be more efficient and pretty much, and also be specific as to what is it that workers can do on the cellular devices and of course whatnot. Because if not, then how would they know? Give them like a test of what happens if they're constantly on their phone all the time, so that way they can see. Oh, okay. I feel like if if more companies do that, then they'll have a better understanding as to why being on their phone during company hours can wait. Again, but there's no type of demonstration that can click in an employee's head. And if you don't do that, so they see like you're like, oh, it's not a big deal. So that's on the company's fault, not really on the worker. And I already talked about the bugs and glitches. That's just technology. I deal with bugs and glitches too. You know, speakers or with the mic, or you got to contact tech support, and sometimes that can delay the work process. So that means you have to wait an hour just to get your paperwork done. So what do you do? And it's funny because companies pretty much say this: oh, well, you could be on your phone if you want while you wait. It's like, but you literally just stated that they can't be on their phone. So it's just like, uh, anyway, I say the two biggest cons, in my opinion, is not really distraction, because that can be self managed with assistance. And if it's pretty serious, like something that the employee needs working, then it could be, managed through training, and of course, just through discipline, through teaching them methods on how to like self monitor themselves. It's can increase stress and overstimulation. So when someone's pretty much online all the time, or let's just say your employee that just gets everything done, you clean everything, yada yada, and supervisor trusts you because you know how to handle it, and then all of a sudden you just end up just looking up some stuff on your phone, and it just starts to make you depressed and sad. Then you start to become overstimulated, then you become frustrated, and now you can't focus on your job. So in a way, limiting phone use and whatnot, computer usage can be good, because naturally, we as humans, or whatever you want to call yourselves, will look up something that's negative. And when that happens, then you just kind of lose track of time, lose track of everything. And that's not good. So, And I may lose track of time in the worst way. So when you limit phone and computer usage, it can increase anxiety, especially if someone, me, who has to constantly check on a family member who needs to Crusader Nice, welcome to my realm, who needs to make sure that they're okay. Um, when you limit access to communication, that's not a good thing either. It's detrimental. It will cause the employees to want to sneak in. Animal company boy, welcome to my realm. It will cause them to pretty much not want to be more engaged with the work because they're so you know stressed about what's going on with their family member. Resources. So let's just say the employee forgot to bring their lunch because they're dealing with some financial woes, and the only thing that they have is a DoorDash card. But the only way they can have access to DoorDash is through their phone or on the computer. Well, they can order it. Well, what if they do that and then they order the food and then they're right there? The DoorDash is right there, and then all of a sudden they deal with somebody who says, "Oh, we need you to do such and such and work a double." So they got the food. The food's cold because they had to, take care of these tasks. And that could pretty much lead to foodborne illness. You see what I mean? Like companies have to think about these scenarios all the time. And of course, I will say this. This is where I have to side with the company. When you also, limit phone usage or whatnot, the best pro is it pretty much brings back face to face communication. So this I would say is good. So, face to face. And again, I feel like this should be taught and retrained in employees because there's different methods and ways how to communicate with people. I'm even learning it too as a Virgo. So, every single day. But the biggest job hire up assumption, I forgot to write this, is it destroys productivity. Hosea, welcome to my realm. And I feel like, again, if you train your employees properly, you won't have to deal with that. So the fear of it wastes company time and destroys productivity, to me, is just completely false. Oh, it creates laziness. Now, the hazard, I can understand, and interrupts workflow. Again, if you train your employees properly, you will not have to worry about anyone being insubordinate, anyone, Kawaii Parasite, welcome to my realm. Anyone, just not doing what they're supposed to do. And then if you see employees doing that, then it's like, well, just see just how long they're on their phones and show them the data. Like, hey, we noticed you've been on your phone for 6 hours, or out of the 8 hours. Like kind of bring it to their attention. Sometimes they don't even realize it. They're just like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize it. But to just say, oh, well, you just can't be on your phone at all, is silly because we see if this was the 90s and early, like, just like, sorry, the early 2000s and whatnot, I would understand. But we are living in an era where you have to have your phone because you don't know what you're going to deal with. You may be in a situation where you have to run, hide, and fight. And that person, that's watching you too, even though they're not supposed to, could be the one saving everybody's life because they're the one who has access to a phone with 100% battery life. Where the other person, who's the good Samaritan, turned off their phone, put their phone in their purse, and it's like, oh snap, they got to turn on the phone, do 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 do, alert, the criminal, the one that trespassed to the company, and get everyone murdered. So it's like you gotta learn to take the good with the bad. Not every employee you're gonna deal with is gonna be perfect. If you train them properly, you won't have to deal with these issues. Don't have to worry about having to limit this and limit that. Again, if it's food, Mozzie Terror, welcome to my realm. Now I get it. If you're dealing with like employees where it's like food service and whatnot, I get it. Yes, but if it's like computer desk work and depending on the task and depending on the company, it's like you got to monitor that on your own. But I feel like teaching employees self monitoring skills would limit these issues. Teach them, like show them, like, hey, this is what happens when you're constantly on your phone all the time. This is what happens, and train them, show them, but don't punish everyone because of the fact that you had a couple of bad apples. It's silly. But the reality is, there is no right or wrong solution. Again, that's completely up to the company, and employees just have to practice self monitoring skills. So, let me give you a good example. When I at my job, right, what I would do is I get my task done first. So the first thing I do before I even touch that phone is job task first. Job task first. I tell myself all the time when I work at these jobs behind the desk, like, sorry, behind the desk and I'm doing paperwork, job task first. Job task first is the first thing that I always do. No matter what happens, I tell myself job task first. I eat at home. I get my stuff together, early in the morning or late at night, you know, the day before work, and I just get everything together. I take care of the most important tasks where I'm like, okay, I know that I do this on my phone on the daily after my workout stuff. Let me take care of this at home first. Get that done. Da 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 da. Get the studying all that stuff. So that way, the minimal tasks like, oh, I don't know, listen to a sermon or listen to music that I can do is on the lowest volume or whatnot. How are they gonna know? And that's it. So job task first. Once that's done, check for the coast is clear. The coast is clear. Okay. Coast is clear. All right. Go ahead and open up your little YouTube on the small little window and watch a little show. Monitor how long it is. Tell yourself, you know what? I'm gonna watch SMG4. Go check them out. Or I'm gonna watch, educational video. Okay, I know it's an hour. If it's an hour and it's just mainly just me listening to like, phrases like in Chinese or whatnot, lower the volume, minimize it, listen to that. If I see someone's there, just press the pause button, which is just space button, space bar, undivided attention to whoever I need to talk to, and then stop for a moment, wait for 5 minutes, get back to what I was doing. This is training. This takes practice. Okay, this is practice, and if you don't practice it now, then you're gonna have issues like this with the employees. You have to teach them that the phone is not the enemy. Okay, because you may be in a serious situation where you may deal with that employee who follows every single rule to a dot and T, and they may say, does anybody have their phones? And then they're going to look at you and say, we can't use our phones. And they're saying, you know what? Just this one time, because we're in a terrible situation, everyone get their phones out. You locked them up in the box. They're like, oh, you see what I mean? So you don't want to put yourself in that situation. So to the companies and to like the higher ups, continue to be lenient, but remind people you can do it, but just know that if you're caught doing something you're not supposed to do by a higher up and you get written up, that's on you. Like you gotta like teach them how would you like it if it was your own company? You gotta put them in those scenarios. Me personally, I don't like being on my phone at all, honestly, even at home. But if I have to, like if I had it my way, I would take this cell phone throw it in the trash, break it, or I'll literally just recycle it. I don't like these cell phones. I don't like smartphones. I don't even like cell phones at all. I miss the old days of just having like a regular phone and just using that for that. Now I will admit that these smartphones have their uses, but when you subtract the entertainment, it's just what the elders say. It's just a phone. That's it. And when you drop it, there's a chance that you can break the screen and everything. It's annoying. So you gotta, also ask yourself after you do all of that, ask yourself, what is it that I really need to do on this phone and on this computer? Especially the job's being nice about it. Can this wait till home? That's what you got to ask yourself. Jay Fur, welcome to my realm. And definitely for those who keep coming by, please consider, just liking and sharing the stream. It's highly appreciated. You don't have to stay for the entirety, but definitely like and share the stream because I want to help out my fellow Virgos and just anyone in general that's willing to listen. So here's my conclusion. Self-monitor, somewhat limited phone use is more efficient than downright banning severe limiting technological usage. Because you never know when the worst case scenario can happen. So I'm going to say this one more time. If you teach employees how to self-monitor themselves, you are teaching them a life skill. You're teaching them, especially young workers, you're teaching them when they're in the car, hey, I understand I'm doing an emergency, but let me just put the phone away for a bit. You're also teaching them this when they're out walking or jogging, or when they're in the store. Let me hold off instead of just saying, oh, it's banned, because that's not realistic. When they're taking their 30-minute break, they're going to be on their phone. They're going to talk to their girlfriend, their boyfriend, or their wife, their husband. They're going to talk to, some people do this. They call the phone, just leave a voice message for their dog. Who hasn't done that? Their dog or their cat or whatnot. But downright banning phone usage during work is just downright insane. It is. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. However, it depends on the job field. If it's a serious job field, you don't need to be on your phone. However, I will say this to the companies: you have to give your workers some incentive to want to keep working for you. So give them breaks. Like what my job does is they allow us to take a couple of, actually as many 10-minute breaks as we need, because they know that our job is stressful. So as long as we monitor ourselves and as long as we get back at our workstation, within 10 minutes, we're able to do that. Not sure that's changed or not, but Hedgehog, welcome to my realm. Please consider liking and sharing this stream if you can. And also, I have seen WWE lately. Evolution was great. Um, Main event was pretty good, and Raw was interesting. And hopefully, Jay Uso or Jimmy Uso gets a push. Flowers. It looks like flowers in the icons of Peach. Welcome to my realm. And also, make sure y'all consider checking out Hedgehog. I know I stated that, new era, new me. I'm not gonna do a lot of that, y'all. But like I said, Jeremy, good to see you. OTC is back. OTC one. I'm not sure why they call him OTC one. I guess they call him OTC one because he is the one. And oh yeah, and the only thing I was gonna just say also is if you want the phone usage and computer usage, inappropriately to stop. Um, Vidma, welcome to my realm. I say offer more job tasks while also respecting, you know, the fact that the worker is doing the best they can, and just pay your employees more. If you pay your employees more, they'll toss that phone. If you tell them, all right, y'all getting a $3 or $4 raise, they'll toss that phone and be like, they'll be happy to comply with you. But if you just continue to treat your employees where it's like, here you go, here's your job task, whatever, blah blah blah, and if I catch you, you're getting written up, you're getting fired. You're gonna lose more workers, okay? Especially if your competitor, right, is stating, "Oh, don't worry, we trust our workers. We don't have to monitor them, you know." We don't have to monitor them, because we pretty much put it like it's your responsibility. If something happens, that's on you, and then you're the one who has to answer for it, or something like that. Like again, it just depends on the job field, and I get why companies have to take these measures, but again, the more lenient and somewhat strict they are, but yet offering training sessions that are mandatory, this will teach them not just about what to do at the job, but in real life. It's great to have your phone. It's great to, use the computer and stuff. You just got to be careful, you know? Got to teach them the importance. You got to remind them, Just because you tell somebody something once doesn't mean they're going to constantly remember it. It's practice. For instance, what I do at my job is repetition, like learning, relearning my brain on how to deal with this new, stricter policy. It's retraining my brain. That's why you have to be careful with employees throwing a bunch of, reminders at them. You know, they're human. They can't remember everything. And that's why training is vital. Whether they know it or not, being retrained is good because it teaches them new skills. Any questions? Okay, so what I have planned for yesterday, which I was supposed to stream, was just Tony Hawk in VR. And and since I got the time, I can go ahead and I guess talk about top 10 worst customer service experiences. I think what I'll do is I'll just list them and then maybe just wait for another time to talk about it because it's a lot. It's a lot. If you know what my original username is, you can check me out at trustpilot.com and you can find some reviews that I have about said companies. So, first off, some honorable mentions: Xbox and Iron Galaxy Studios, DoorDash, Discord, Blue Sky, Tweet, aka X.com, and Instagram, Walmart, EA, Activision or slash Blizzard, Activision, Blizzard, and Ubisoft, WWE, that's a question mark, and FeetFinder.com. Grayish. Welcome to my realm. Now, top 10 worst customer service experiences. I can just go over this real quick. Pixiv, just a terrible site, difficult to navigate through. And Number Frogger, welcome to my realm. Anything dealing with the state government, that's just common sense. Best Buy, GameStop, well, they're dying anyway, so it doesn't matter. Taco Bell, Wendy's, and Popeyes, they're struggling anyway, so does it really matter at this point? Just mostly just rude customer service and poor food quality, mostly with Taco Bell, in my opinion. Huntington Bank, I forgot that one TikToker's name. I want to shout him out because he's the only one that actually memed that bank, and I appreciate it because no one else would do it. PlayStation, for me personally, it's just their customer service and their abuse on other exclusive, games. This platform, which YouTube, VR chat, but I just say this platform's the worst because their customer service. That's pretty much it. Their customer service. If you need any help, they will not help you. I've tried. I've given them chance. I've been on this platform before I had this account multiple times. And oh my goodness. If you think I'm lying, if I'm doing something correctly, please DM me and tell me step by step how to deal with their customer service because it's awful. Ansley and lowly ants, if you catch my drift. Terrible customer service and just terrible sites in general. Should have been famous 28. Welcome to my realm. eBay. I think we all can agree on that. And Menards and Pulsar products. Okay, this is not a rant, I promise you, but this is just a side topic. And Again, part of my therapy is just expressing how things make me feel. So when I dealt with these companies, I felt disappointed, frustrated, and mostly just baffled. I would say the only company that made me angry, which is very rare, would have to be Menards and Pulsar products. So you can check out my review, which is published live at trustpilot.com for more details on that. That's at, I think you can find me under Why People Why still, or is it Wilgins? I'm not sure, but just type in my old username and you'll find it. So, but yeah, Iron Galaxy Studios has actually improved, so I can't really say anything. Plus, they're the ones who actually help with, you know, I think with porting or like helping with developing of the Tony Hawk remake game. So I've been enjoying those games. I'm just waiting for Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 remake to go on sale so I can play those games. I already have the first one. I'm just waiting on the second one. So the moment that Xbox says, okay, we're removing this from Game Pass, that's when I'll go ahead and that'll probably be around Christmas. I'll buy it. And hopefully Doom the Dark Age is also on sale. So, uh, so I'm just waiting just to see, the DLC campaign and whatnot. I definitely still want to play it. So, and I definitely want to see how it plays on my new PC. Anybody have any customer service experiences that they like to talk about that was just terrible? I feel like that's a great thing for everyone to do just to, get that out their system. And also understand this. Companies are like talking to a wall. They're hollow, they have no soul, so you can say whatever you want, just don't say anything about the person. I think I said this multiple times, but you know, you see people, they get mad, they accidentally mention someone's name, and it's just, ugh, just ugh. Don't do that. just don't do that. So And to young ones about feet finder, just don't worry about what I just said. Don't worry about what I said. You're not even supposed to be on. You're not even supposed to be in these streams, honestly, because this is those are 18 plus. But people don't listen. Jesse Snap, welcome to my realm. And sadly enough, y'all probably already know what the site is before I even say anything, which is just your parents need to do a better job. Jesse, good to see you. And Underground Tony Hawk. They should make a remake of the Tony Hawk Underground games. Miss you too, Jesse. Um, but it's up to whoever has the Tony Hawk license. I'm not sure who, so it's up to them to make that decision. Honestly. So, okay, so I did that. And but yeah, mostly a lot of these customer service experiences just devolved into it's just revolves around four major reasons. Customer service and professionalism, not feel like I'm being heard, a lack of refund. I did finish Doom: The Dark Ages weeks ago, actually, a month ago. Fantastic game. Um, I'm just gonna wait for the DLC and then I'll make my decision on if I'm still gonna buy it or not. I mean, heck, I waited 4 years to get the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake, and I waited, let's see, 3+ years just to get the Doom Eternal DLC. So, patience is a virtue. Uh, and of course, anything dealing with the over abuse of, you know, politics or religion, which I don't think I've dealt with that issue except for WWE and Chick-fil-A and what else. I think it's just the professionalism and just customer. FKU too, man. Welcome to my realm. So, but yeah. But honestly, when I look at these sites, and again, I gotta be careful because I know there's youngsters that lurk and listen in what I have to say. So, T girl, welcome to my realm. I would just say that the only company you just gotta focus on, keep your eye on, is Menards and Pulsar products. Look them up. If you are looking for a lawnmower, I do not recommend Pulsar at all. They have given me and my mother switch to prices. We could talk about that in a moment. They have given me the worst customer service ever. Worse than GameStop, worse than this platform, worse than the other platforms for adults, worse than eBay, worse than worse than Taco Bell, Wendy's, and Popeyes. Honestly, they're the only restaurants I can think of that give me the worst service ever. Worse than banks, just worse than anything. At least banks will work with you to some degree. I don't know how this is even possible that a company that I looked up to in high regards since I was a kid goes downhill like this. It's very rare for me to look at a company for so long. Welcome back, T girl. For so long, just for them to give me and my mother the worst service ever. After dealing with two defective lawnmowers. Well, one was through Walmart, but Walmart actually took care of that properly. Menards was the one that pretty much, I don't know. There's really nothing to say because, and it's not me slandering the company. This is them literally stating that they don't care. So if they don't care, then they really shouldn't care about what I have to say. So it's just, I'm disappointed. Out of all the companies I've ever dealt with going on in my 30+ years of living, I would say that Menards is the one company that I would never suspect to be number one. At first, it was going to be that one site for adults, which we all know is terrible. It was terrible from since the beginning, and deserved to be mocked and meaned by everyone. But the fact that they have this hatred towards a particular group of people is just disgusting. And both sites should be ashamed of themselves. You don't have to agree. I'm just talking to adults right now. You don't have to agree with what they do, but you have to understand that hating on a particular group because of some misconception and misinformation is just downright despicable. So yeah, maybe one of these days I'll go into detail about these, but I'm gonna be real with you. As a Virgo who's really just trying to be better, I think it's best to just let it go. Really, nothing to even go on about these. But if you personally would like for me to talk to you about these companies, simplistic, yet somewhat in some detail, in some minor detail, just DM me on TikTok. If you are young, I will say I will talk about all these companies except for three because you're young. But if you're older, I could talk to you about all of them. And just let me know your comfort level. Do you want little detail? Do you want large amount of detail? And we'll go from there. Or if you just want to say what I just learned from this, then I'll say this. What I've learned is simple. Patience and just understanding that companies can do whatever they want and they won't respond anything until they are losing money and losing, something of vital importance. If they're not losing anything, they won't care. It's rare for a company to say, you know what, we're actually for the people. But again, it's something that there's a very controversial YouTuber who literally just tells it like it is. And I think I played one of their, I reacted to one of their videos, and I was speechless. I couldn't even react to it because I was like, you know what? They're telling the truth. Um, I think it's New Wrestling World Order is his name. I really love his content, and he stated that I don't know if it was he or it's just something that I just looked up. When the gods are getting paid, there is no religion. So I was like, wow. In other words, just talking about how people overpraise certain people and everything. And I was like, wow. So when I thought about that, I think that was the best way. That's the best lesson that I say I learned from these terrible customer service experiences. The Those that say they're for the people, test them because once extra money starts coming in, and you start seeing all these changes, how the employees now can't do certain things that they used to when there was nothing wrong, and they're saying certain things to kind of like attack and demean that person, like not that person, but just the employees or whatever because they're trying to make themselves look good. That speaks volumes. You got to challenge them, and you got to bring that to exactly. You got to bring that to their attention. Like, wait a minute, you used to be for the people, and now you're not. What's going on? And it's also, the same thing. If the company is more for the employees and not for the people, that's a problem too. And if they're more for the people instead of the employees, that's a problem too. There has to be some level of balance, not perfect, and some little imbalance so that way it doesn't create too much trouble. I hope I'm making sense. Like I said, I'm really trying. The therapy's helping me. Christian, welcome to my realm. I'm really trying. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm making sense to people. I'm just trying to make sure that I get to the point, not dragging on. I went over the toxic traits. I'm just really trying to just get to the point. Okay. Any questions? Confusion? Did I go too fast? In other words, if they're for the people, test them. Test them with money. Test them with anything that you know within your skill set. Or have someone test them. If they pass, they're telling the truth. If they're not, they showed you their true colors. GameStop used to be for the people. Best Buy used to be for the people. This platform used to be for the small creators. Now it's different. The blue, Witter, used to be for the people. Blue Sky used to be for the people. But when money and certain success starts, chiming in, it's different. I also notice this with people that I talk to sometimes. They're for you, but once they get where they need to be, you're forgotten. Walmart's the big one, absolutely. Amazon, Walmart, the big ones. But I will say this about Walmart: to an extent, they'll work with you if you know what you're doing. If you know what you're doing and you're able to catch them when they're bending a policy that they're not supposed to when it comes to consumer rights, they'll work with you. But I think the one company that everyone really needs to pay attention to, in my opinion, is anything dealing with the government and Nintendo. I think that's the best one. And again, this is public knowledge. I know people say, "Oh, don't say their name." I used to nickname them Nin Nin, but I don't care just to say Nintendo. because that's all I hear about now. It's everywhere. I can't get away from it. I can't run away from it. I can't, just say, oh, that's just a company. You got to understand. No, like it's actually getting bad. The people are speaking up. I even seen some staunch defenders of Nintendo literally state, I'm done. And I'm just sitting here with my jaw to the ground, shocked because I would have never expected certain YouTubers to actually speak out for once against Nintendo saying, I can't do this. I can't buy, a Switch 2. So there's a lot of issues with the Switch 2. The reason why I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon is because they're going to fix it. They're going to change it because companies do this all the time. Xbox made their little mistakes. They changed it. They fixed it. Everyone loves Xbox. Except for indie developers who keeps getting screwed over by them by do Xbox Game Pass. Some companies, not all. Nintendo, imagine Monkey 12, welcome to my realm. Imagine Monkey 12, welcome back to my realm. It's just, you got to play the waiting game and just be very careful. So it's like with restaurants. Uh, Jamie, Miss Chu, welcome to my realm. It's just like with today when I ordered some. I didn't order anything. My apologies. My mother ordered some pizza. And yes, she's doing good. She's recovering. She's hanging in there. The doctors are very happy with her progress. She's fighting and she's doing good. She's taking her medicine on time. She's resting. She's listening, and she's still helping me. I'm helping her. We are just helping one another out. My dog's is just trying to get used to because she's never seen my mother like this. So it's hard for her, and she always wants to be up under me because she's scared. So it is what it is. But to make a long story short, that's just the way how it is with these companies. You just got to be careful. One thing that I can teach anybody, if they're willing to listen, I know my Virgos listen, but anybody's willing to listen, is if they throw you a bone, take half, take 25%, and give them the rest. Let them know that you only trust them to a certain extent. Treat relationships like this and watch and see how much respect you get. My fellow Virgos, and I'm glad because okay, I'm done with the whole thing on companies, but I want to add on to this. My fellow Virgos, I want to say this: the biggest problem that we have is oh, trying to fix it. Here it is, going overboard. We're just going to use the going overboard, not in full, but just going overboard. Um, when we trust something or someone, we tend to be too trusting, and we just go overboard. Oh, I'm gonna do this for you. I'm gonna give you this game. I'm gonna give you this movie ticket, and to any individual that could be too much, and they could be thinking that you have ill intentions. Cancer, today's my birthday. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to Jesse. Happy birthday, Jesse. Happy birthday, Jesse. Get your money. Make sure y'all check out Jesse. Check out their TikToks, and just send them encouraging, words of wisdom. But yeah, so what a Virgo would do is be like, oh, like what's this, and what's that, so I can give you this, this, and this. And sometimes it's just a way of a Virgo just saying, hey, I trust you, I love you, and I want to do that. The right people will see this, and they will do something nice for the Virgo back. It doesn't have to be as big as theirs, and they'll appreciate it and say, oh, okay, so you honor what I did, or oh, you gave me a shout. That's cool. That's cool. And the Virgo's like, okay, trust is still instilled. And then there's some where you do stuff for them, they take advantage of it, they're used, they forgive, and they'll say, oh, okay, well, maybe they just forgot. And then days turn to weeks, weeks turn to months. And then that's when the Virgo starts to be suspicious, get frustrated. And all I'm going to say is just use the example that I just stated with the companies. So going back to the companies, if they give you a bone, the whole bone, 100%, snap off 25% or whatever and give them the rest. They're going to be confused and say, no, 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 no. I'm only going to nibble. I'm not taking the whole thing. It's just like with record companies when they're like, we're going to promise you this and this. I just need someone who just to help me promote my music. That's it. I can do the rest myself. Oh, but you won't make as much money. That's perfectly fine. If you can just help spread the word, I'll pay for the advertisement. That's all I want. I'm gonna read the contract. I'm gonna get a lawyer. That's all I want. If I need anything else, we're gonna take it day by day, step by step. Arctic Rain, welcome to my realm. Exactly. With cancers, we get one time, maybe a second chance after we never forget. Yep, that's true. I have Cancer friends. I have Aries friends. Leo friends. I have all sorts of friends, and I'm learning. So I'm learning, and I'm doing the best I can. Like I said, I'm learning from my toxic traits from when I was young, and even now. And I'm like, okay, this is what I need to work on because I don't want to be like that. What's up, Arctic? I'm like, I don't want to be like that. I want to be the Virgo that people inspire to be. Like Michael Jackson, or Chris Tucker or Jack Black, the ones that are mature and know how to deal with their emotions. Not perfectly because, Tomoki Kuroki, welcome to my realm. But you get my point. So Virgos, going back, get back on topic. So we talked about the whole thing with the companies and everything. United States Civil War historian, welcome to my realm. Take your time, Jesse. So we talked about the whole thing with the companies. We talked about this and that. But the reason why I'm combining those is because of the whole thing with the bone. Because Virgos, you go overboard because you don't understand. When someone gives you something, take a little piece, test it. Oh, here, take a cake. Take only 25% of cake. Here, give it to someone else because you're showing them, I trust you, but I don't trust you fully. Now, of course, if someone gives you food, just take the whole thing. But take the whole thing, make them feel like, oh, no, no, no. So what I would do is I'll just cut me a little piece, and then, especially if it's like a high calorie cake or whatnot, and I'll give the rest to the residents. Because what I'm teaching them is, I love myself to not put that in my body. I trust you, but I still learning to trust you. Virgos, if you have that attitude with every single person you meet, if they have not shown you that they can be trustworthy, you will not be hurt. You will not be in the situation that I'm in. You just won't. You will be in a situation where you will be free. Free from that pain, free from that judgment, free from that. Why didn't they message me? Did I do something wrong? It's been 6 weeks. It's been maybe it was me. Maybe it was me. If you don't ever want to feel like that again, listen to me when I say this. If you don't ever want to feel like that again, give little. So instead of going overboard, give little. Oh, it's their birthday. $5. If they appreciate the $5, okay, $10. Now let's go back to the company. They offer you a coupon. Okay, just one time. Okay, thank you for the coupon. And then don't don't use it again. Wait 2 weeks, wait 3 weeks, wait 4 weeks. Then all of a sudden, they're gonna give you a coupon. Okay, that's what you gotta do. When it comes to food industry, cook and learn to cook your own food. You know, welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order? Yeah, I just want a small order of fries. That's all. That's it. That's it. Taste the fries. Okay, the fries were good. See what it does to your body. Go to the doctor. Okay, the fries were good. All right. Come back. Try the burger. Okay, come back. Now try the burger and fries. I know it's work, but this is what you got to do now. You didn't have to do this back then. Come back. Small soda. Small soda. So if the small sip makes you a little sick, hey, you know not to get the soda again. Start off small and then gradually earn that trust. And then once you see what that particular company or whatnot, despite the controversy, despite what you're, because Virgos, I know you're gonna do this and continue to do it. You're gonna do all this research. Blah, blah, blah. If you're that concerned, small. Go to a restaurant. Oh, I just want some. I just want to taste your salad. I just want to taste your small burrito. Just small. You'll save yourself money. And then when it comes to food, go to a produce store or whatnot. Bread, welcome to my realm. And just get your produce and whatnot, and talk to your doctor about diets. It's the same thing with people. You gotta put yourself on a diet. There we go. I got it. Virgos, put yourself on a diet when it comes to people and things. There you go. Limit yourself. When it comes to something that you don't understand and you don't comprehend, while you're doing your research, do others, not alone. Don't do it alone. Put yourself on a diet. Tell yourself, you know what? No McDonald's. I'm just gonna get me. If I do want McDonald's, I'm just gonna get me small order fries, and that's it. I don't want nothing else. And then after that, go to the store and start purchasing your own food, like actual food, like potatoes and meat and whatnot, like not processed, like actual meat, and learn to cook it yourself. And when it comes to people, right? How they communicate with you, communicate back with them like that. They say yo, you say yo. Put yourself on a diet. Now, to the people that have shown that you can trust, to the companies that have shown that you have earned their trust, always keep it at 80% and only keep the select few, the select rare few at 100, maybe 95%. Do this to yourself, Virgos, and I promise you, you will never ever be hurt again by people. And if you do get hurt, you'll know how to deal with it. If the problem is you put 100, you start saying, oh, you're the only one, oh, you're this, and that's where you hurt yourself. Diet. That's the word, diet. So the D stands for day by day. The I stands for, you know, um, integrity. E stands for educate. T stands for time. Follow that acronym with everything in life. When you work out, 10. Okay, your arm hurt. Stop. Next day, try 15. Or you can't. Okay, just do 10 for that week. You gotta limit it. Because Virgos, y'all move too fast. You move too fast, you think too fast. Diet yourself. Limit yourself. You know? When it comes to games, I'd be like, oh man, I'm gonna get this Steam game. I just deal with Xbox Game Pass. If there's a website where I can get it dirt cheap, legally, I will do that instead. Save me some money. And then when it's time for me to take a break. And then watch, you're gonna get all these emails. You haven't been on Xbox in 6 months. You haven't been on PlayStation for 7 months. Oh, we noticed that your inbox. You haven't used this in blah 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 blah. And while you're dieting yourself, Virgos, y'all good for this, and you need to continue to do this. Look over your goal list. When people push you to the side because you screwed up and you went overboard, follow diet. Tell yourself it's me time. You ask somebody, hey, you want to spend time with me? Sure. The first time they don't do it, don't ever ask again. You're not punishing them. You are telling yourself, wrong time. I'll try again next time. Diet yourself. All right. What do I want to do? I want to play Tony Hawk. I want to work out. I want to spend some time with the dog. You know what? I want to work some extra hours. Diet yourself. All right. And when you do that, you're going to be so much happier. But what if I hurt their feelings? What if I. All I'm going to say is this: they didn't care about hurting yours. And listen, and this goes back to the next lesson about don't be afraid of being looked upon as the villain. Just remember, they didn't care about hurting yours. They didn't care about, all the times you need to stream and they didn't show up. But yet they want you to show up to theirs. Diet yourself. Tell yourself, I'm going to miss this stream. because I need to focus on me. I got to focus on, I got to get up early in the morning. I got to take care of me. And if they get mad, it's okay because I've shown and proven myself that I am worth their time and they didn't see it. So guess what? I have to diet myself. When I ate that pizza, and all of a sudden I just felt, I was like, ugh. I say no. I said no. I'm not going to eat the rest of this. I'm not. I threw it in the trash. It was only $2, but it doesn't matter. Diet myself. I cooked me some vegetables, and I got a banana, and I felt so much better. Let's look at the definition of diet. Diet is the to restrict oneself to small amounts or special kinds of food in order to lose weight. But let me rephrase this. It's to restrict oneself to small amounts. That's it. That's all you need to know. To diet means to restrict yourself to small amounts. But you want to know what's funny about dieting? It's difficult because as humans, you want that attachment. You want to be loved. Virgos, I know you're going to lie and say, I don't need nobody. I don't need no man. I'm a survivor. Yeah, that's all true and all. But deep down, you want somebody. You want a lover. You want to be recognized. But you got to diet yourself. Because if you don't diet yourself, and the more time that you waste, that diet is going to turn to a 3-letter word, DIE. Then you might as well just be dead inside. I'm going to say that one more time. Virgos, if you don't diet yourself when it comes to people, when it comes to things, when it comes to money, you might as well just get rid of the T. And on the inside, you are slowly going to cause yourself to DIE. That is the danger of going overboard with the wrong people. I'm gonna have to download this stream for myself because this was good. This was good. Woo, this was good. Feel like I'm preaching up in here. I ain't trying to say it like that, but man, I felt that. Whew, it's the truth. You gotta diet yourself. You're gonna deal with people that are gonna tell you they love you, they care about you, they will never abandon you, they will never hurt you. Those are the people that you need to put your guard up against. Not full guard, not Iron Man guard, but just like, hold on, wait a minute. Just a little bit. Remember what I told you about the guards? Don't put a full guard up. Just put just up just a little bit. You gotta have your shield. You can't be silly not having no shield now. Because it's foolish just to go into the world and not have any. You gotta have some type of armor on. Come on now. Especially when you're doing spiritual warfare. You gotta have some type of armor on. Limit yourself. Tell yourself when it comes to social media, I'm turning this ish off. I'm turning it off. Onyx, welcome to my realm. Tell yourself when you're on certain sites, I'm turning this off. Tell yourself when you are constantly messaging someone and they don't respond, I'm deleting the DMs. Why are you going to delete the DMs? Because you are telling yourself it's time to move on. They moved on. I'm moving on. And it's only temporary. I'm going to give y'all a good example. There is someone by the name of Taba who I highly recommend that y'all check out. And I used to talk with this fellow. Great fellow. Makes amazing videos. TikTok's got thousands, 10,000s of views. Over time, unfortunately, due to life circumstances, We didn't have time to constantly see one another. So we drifted apart. We were once friends on VR chat, right? And then I didn't. They unfriended me. I didn't take no offense to that. I saw them at Ferality, and I looked at them. I said, "Hey, I'm just glad they're doing good." So something must have clicked because when I checked TikTok just today, they followed me because they was like, "Oh, wait a minute, I know this person." See, Virgos, this is what happens when you diet yourself. I let them free. I didn't go chasing after them. I did say, "Why did you unfriend me?" Da, 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 da. I applaud them for the success. I was happy that they're happy. I'm happy to see that they got sponsorships and whatnot. And because of that grateful happiness, they followed me back. I'm telling you. And you're talking to someone that barely gets any views or recognition. You have to stay true to who you are because the one thing that my mother told me, and I'm going to share this with the Virgos and those who are listening, because a lot of y'all not going to get this. But to my Virgos, listen when I say this. You wonder why things aren't working out, yada, yada, when it comes to people? Listen to me. The reason why that's the case, and I want you to hear me when I say this, it's because you are a ghost to the majority. However, you are seen and heard by the rare minority. That's the minority that is tired of going through, that's tired of listening to the friends, that wants to see better in their life. So I'm going to say this one more time. Virgos, you are a ghost to the majority, but you are seen and heard by the rare minority regardless of their sign. But if you want to be seen and heard by those minority, you have to show maturity. So it's when I went through this change of letting go of the pony sona and everything, that was a big change for me. And I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'm happy that I did. I'm happy. But at the same time, part of me was hurting when I did it. I didn't want to do it. But I knew that if I wanted to heal and get better and see certain things that I need to work on, it was the only way. Because I'm going to say this right now, and I know I'm 3 days early. Happy early birthday to you, Natalie. And happy early birthday to anyone that has a birthday this week. That woman helped me to see certain parts of me that I need to work on, just like I helped her. We helped one another. Unfortunately, it devolved into something messy because, miscommunication, whatnot, where three friendships now turned to acquaintanceships. However, it had to happen so all of us can grow and mature. So now I'm going to state this, and I have never done this. To Nuka Moon, I have no ill will towards you. I see you nothing but as a good friend. But it is your choice. I only choose to communicate with you and a couple of others through VR chat due to my personal situation with my family member. I don't have time anymore to constantly keep going through Discord, Discord, Discord. I'm not going to go into, in a formal matter about stuff in the past. I made my decision for me. I made the best decision that's going to help me mentally. So if you feel like, did I do anything wrong? Doesn't matter. The decision is made, all is forgiven. Respect the boundary that you can only talk to me on VR chat. I have no ill will towards anyone that I do that to. I don't. I'm doing it for me. I'm doing it for me because I know the high level that I'm going to be going towards. So if you once were able to talk to me in all other platforms and now you can't anymore, just do what y'all do to us Virgos. Take the L. Take the loss. It's okay. It's life. We have taken many L's. I would say a Virgo has taken more L's than any other sign in the world. And that's a fact. I've taken a lot of L's. Heck, this L with Menards and Pulsar products. You know, a lot of L's. I'm not the type of person to just cut people off because, oh, something happened. I'm the type of person that's going to at least give you a chance. If I do that, that's just me noticing something like, okay, you treat me a certain way, yada, yada, yada. It was difficult to communicate it. So I feel like let's just be separated for a bit because I promise you'll get better. That's why I'm going through, therapy, more intense therapy and it's helping me. I don't have time to like play these games with people and like be called a fake whatever. I got too much respect for myself and for others to deal with that. Honestly, like if anything, I have respect for everyone that I come across because I've learned, how to be better. I learned from my mistakes, and when I looked up my toxic traits, it's kind of like the realization of wow, this is what a lot of people were working on me, with, and they're just impressed with the fact that I was able to, manage it myself for so long. But what I've also learned is the methods that they taught me were effective for so so long, and I had to learn new methods, just like they had to learn new methods. But I think the one thing that Virgos you got to understand, we talked about this already, is that perfectionism is what's hurting you because you want everything right. You meet that person, you think it's just going to be clean. No. Let me tell you something that you should have been taught in elementary school and kindergarten and whatnot. Every relationship you're going to deal with is going to have some type of spill. It's going to have some type of, you know, scar. And I'm going to give you the types of scars, okay? Number one, it could just be an internal one. The loss of a friend. That's something that no one's done anything wrong. You did everything right. Y'all did everything right. Maybe I got to a little argument, so, but y'all was able to reconcile. Death happens. It's terrible, but it happens. Internal scar. That's something that nothing you can do about it. It could also be a family member dies or a dog dies, and that person's just changed and they need their space. There's the external scar, right? The pain, where something was said to you and it really affected you mentally. And Virgos, you got to learn, just like I'm still learning, how to communicate how that makes you feel. Because nothing's worse than having suppressed anger. You gotta do more than just lethal crimson. Welcome to my realm. You got to do more than just write it down. You gotta do more than just sing it. You gotta literally talk to someone that you trust and state how you feel. And listen, you're probably thinking to yourself, but you said this multiple times. Yes, Virgos, because this is something you have to practice. Just because you are taught this, like, oh, you went through the whole teaching series with me about how to deal with toxic traits. This is something I have to work with. Heck, I even caught myself, looking over those toxic traits. I was like, I got to work on this. Oh man, I got to work on that. But I didn't look at it as, oh, it's my fault. No, I looked at it as I got to work on it. Yesterday, I did something incredibly stupid, when it involved gasoline and whatnot. It was a learning lesson for me. A learning lesson that, thank goodness, I'm still alive and my mother's still alive. I checked my breathing, like, wow, I'm still breathing. I'm still alive. My heart. We're just talking about just a tip on how to, limit what you do with people and things so that way you don't get hurt. That's the simplest way I could put it. I'm pretty much almost done with that topic. Now I'm gonna find something else to talk about. So when you when I went through that and I was like, you know what? Nah, this was my fault. And I didn't look at it as beat myself up. I look at it as, nah, this was serious. Hey, it's Nathan, welcome to my realm. And it was detrimental. And what was said to me, and it was deserved. I didn't look at it as, oh, I'm beating myself up. Oh, no, I looked at it as a learning lesson. And I looked at it as I'm grateful that I'm alive lesson. And that's a mature Virgo. Someone who's willing to see that, didn't get mad, didn't get frustrated. And you know what I did afterwards? Man, I listened to music, and you know, and I did some yard work. You know, I just enjoyed the rest of my day, and I just was counting my blessings that I was alive and my mother was alive and the dog's alive. And when I woke up the next morning, I was like, wow, I'm still breathing. Wow, my lungs are still clear. And then I watched the Medea movie. Watch the Medea movie. It's good. I'm probably gonna watch it, after this stream, because man, watching it after this stream, because man, that was good. And then you have the rare scar, right? Breezy, welcome to my realm. And this is the one where it's both emotion, where it's both internal and external. This is the one you have to be very careful of. Virgos and just people in general. Because this is the one that will drive people insane. This is the ones that create people like the villains that we see and that some people idolize. Which again, the adultery, gotta be careful with that. Gotta be careful with that. You know. Um, this is the one where you allow what happened externally and internally to take over and manage your moods and what you do. I say this because we see it every day. We see it through our president. We see it through the government. Something that happened to him internally. Then something happens to him externally. It's combined and it shaped their whole character. So when you hear them talk based off of what happened, but it's disguised through their intelligence, it's disguised through their job, it's disguised through Osama, your trademark, welcome to my realm. It's disguised through everything that they have learned when they was young and whatnot. There's a lot of people that are good at masking their pain. Virgos, surprisingly, are good at that. But Virgos, I want you to not do that anymore. So let's go back. Let's go back, okay? With the whole thing with the companies, with the whole thing with learning about the phone and computer usage. Those were all examples, right? Inadvertently. Because sometimes when you go overboard with your thinking, you make things bigger than what it needs to be and you miss the lesson. And when you do that, you can either destroy relationships or you can destroy yourself. The solution is to diet. Company starts in your mind acting out, acting funny, limit for you. It's not to show them, just limit for you. To keep yourself safe, just stay off your phone. Don't even touch the computer unless you're done with your work. And, you know, print out, you know, lessons and whatnot. Bring a book. That sends a powerful message. You're keeping your peace, you're keeping your sanity. But talk to someone that you trust about how that made you feel. And who knows, they may say, no, 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 nothing's changed. But you can't ever, lock people down. And Virgos, I get why you do it. You lock people down because they did it to you when you were 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old. I've seen it. So you lock other people down. You put them in like a Kichia, so a Brazilian jiu-jitsu hold. You won't let go because they did the same to you and they didn't let go and they left a scar on you. Ease up and know that people are still learning, trying to figure this out. You're going to love your life a lot more. You know, when someone talking about, you know, and we're just going to go back to the company's example, Wendy's or Arby's introducing a new sandwich. You're smart, do your research and everything. But if you're curious, go ahead and try it out. However, if you really want to know, talk to a doctor. Hey, if you ever tried this, send them the nutritional facts and they'll tell you yay or nay. Well, what if I just had half and I just share half with my family? They'll say, oh, well, maybe. Nothing wrong with communicating. Nothing wrong with just taking a little. Because Virgos, if I've done that exact same thing, I will not feel the pain that I feel now. I wouldn't feel betrayed. I wouldn't feel hurt. That damn bird, welcome to my realm. I wouldn't feel like I wasted my time. I wouldn't be frustrated and close on my DMs on my Discord. I would just accept people for where they are, and that's it. Welcome back, Yiva, Kilo. Welcome back to my realm. And I wouldn't feel like I'm a burden because I allowed people to be imperfect. Just like I allow these companies and everyone else to feel the same way. It's just that's just the way it is. So let's just do an overview, okay? Let's do an overview because I know I talked about a lot. I don't want to overwhelm nobody. I've been doing better. So with the phone computer usage, we concluded self-monitor. That's the key. Self-monitor and encourage, companies maybe to offer that training. Joe, welcome to my realm. When it comes to when I talked about the customer service worse, customer service, we came up with an acronym D.I.E.T. That is I forgot what the D stand for, but I'm just gonna just say another term. Direct, intellect, educate, and time. And if you use your time, the T stays. If you don't use your time, then DIE. Internally, not externally. And then we use the example, from restaurants and just dealing with people and whatnot, just to understand the importance of that. And honestly, that acronym DIET, you can use that even with the job. So I don't know who I talked to today, who this helped, but just try it. Sometimes the best thing to do, right, when you've done everything, is to diet. There you go. There you go. I should just rename this stream diet. Y'all was thinking about food. I mean, I was talking about food, but I was talking about food for a bit, but that's not the whole point. It's just when you Jeremy, welcome back to Maryland. When you limit it on everything that you do, relationships or whatnot, it's just a beautiful thing. So that's what you have to do, and that's going to prevent you from being hurt. So Virgos, I hope this makes sense. See, I was not expecting to turn all of that into a full blown lesson. That was not in my plans. But guess what, Virgo? It's okay if things don't go according to plan. You can modify the plan. It still turns into something beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. My plan was just to string Tony Hawk Pro Skater remake 3 and 4 all day, and just kick my feet up and eat my Waffle House, and that was that. But then something happened where I was hanging out with people, and Connor McDonald, welcome to my realm, and I just was like, all right, we're going to not do the the role play and stuff for today, and just prepare for tomorrow. Like I was just telling myself, you know what, this is okay, this is all good. This is a good thing. So that's just you know that's just how life needs to be. You just gotta tell yourself that's okay. And my mother was like, I couldn't, take this back. I was like, I just told her that's all right. It's all right. No big deal. I've been to the Pizza Hut pizza. It was nasty. I'm not gonna be nice about it. It was nasty. Like the food wasn't nasty. I just didn't want it anymore because when I tasted it and I felt all that salt and all, I was like, ugh, like I said no. The only way you're going to truly heal, Virgos, if you allow yourself to make mistakes and you allow yourself to be critiqued and you allow yourself to not take it personally, but you set the boundaries. We talked about this already. So we're just going to stick to just this, the diet. So Virgos, your homework assignment. Everyone else, y'all do what y'all want. Virgos, y'all homework assignment is diet. If you're doing too much working out, tell yourself, cut it in half. Unless the doctor tells you got to work out a little bit more, then do that. Zalio official 30, welcome to my realm. Um, if you gain too much, limit it. If you eat out too much, limit it, and learn to cook. If you get angry a lot, meditate more. You gotta, you see what I mean? You gotta. It's not about balance it out. It's just diet. That's all. It's just diet. If you order a whole case of chicken, right? You're not going to eat the whole case of chicken. You got to balance it out. You got to tell yourself, okay, I'm going to have this chicken for dinner for tomorrow, and then the next day and the next day. Sometimes you got to tell yourself, you know what, it's going to take me 2 days to eat all this Chinese food. I'm going to eat a little here with some more vegetables, and then cook me some meat, you know, some steak and whatnot. Home cooked steak with my own spice, so I ain't got to worry about, cause me to bloat. And then it's just Henry, welcome to my run. It's just life is so much fun when you just don't plan it all the time. Because there's so many people that I look up to, especially in the WWE. They plan all this stuff out. And when things don't go their way, sometimes they freak out. But the mature ones, they're like, you know what? It didn't work out the way I wanted, but it's cool. I had the experience, and that's all that matters. Virgos, they're like, oh, yeah. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I'm at a place where I'm just allowing just silly things to happen. If things can be prevented, sure, but if it doesn't, that's fine too. That's why when it comes to me streaming, I don't worry about certain things like, oh, maybe I should have got this diamond or whatever. I want to talk to those who I know that are going to listen and take heed to my advice and enjoy my company. They ain't gonna care if I'm the pony anymore. They ain't gonna care if I'm someone else. That's who I want to talk to and interact with. Everyone else, they can give me the finger and walk on. It's all good. I'm still gonna smile and keep it moving. I said it once and I'll say it again. This is when I was the pony. The best, memorable advice that I've ever received was not always from someone that was big. It was always from those that were hidden, those that I didn't even know existed. Like I would check out certain, sermons and videos, and I'd be like, "Who is this person? This person only has like 6, 10 views or 1,000 views, and while that person has 10,000 views." And I would check out the person with 1,000 views and learn so much from that person. It's just I look back. Pizza, welcome to my realm. I look back right at a lot of my streams, and I ain't gonna lie. I used to go into a realm of like, like to a mental state. Oh, I wish I did this, and oh, maybe if I did that, and maybe this would. I tell myself, you know what? No, it hold. Welcome to my realm. I said no. It had to happen. I met someone in Ferrari. I haven't seen them since, but I hope they're doing good. And they told me something, and they used quantum physics to explain to me that no matter if there was a way to go back through time, you can't fix or change anything. You can only adjust because whatever is going to happen is going to happen. You can't. It doesn't matter. Dehydrate car. Welcome to my realm. So, like for example, if you're late to work, you could try to go back in time and cause yourself not to be late. But did you really learn why you were late? All you did is just prevent the lesson. That's the painful thing about life sometimes. Now, I know some people say, oh, it could be prevented, could be prevented. And it's like, yeah, but you're just delaying the inevitable of that happening to either someone else or to your own kid. Why? Because you didn't learn the lesson. You're probably thinking to yourself, that's fucked up. Why would you say it? And unfortunately, it's the truth. All right. It's just the truth of how life is, right? Like if someone told me do toe exercises, right? So you could be able to have mobility of all your toes. I mean, of course, obviously, I would listen because I was taught that way. But but if I was told at the wrong time, I could end up messing up my feet at a young age. But because I saw that I was having issues with one of my toes at this age, I'm more mature, and I know how to balance it out. And I'm not, because see, Yomi would have went to the stream like, I'm gonna do this 100 times. I'm gonna do this 200 times, and I would have messed up my foot, and I would have had to get surgery. Older me now knows follow the instructions. If they say only do it 3 to 4 times a day, that's it. That's it. Stop. That's why you have to be careful what you teach the youth. And that's why some things you can teach and the rest you got to bring them back to their parents. But their parents, they're irresponsible. You're right. You're right. But that parent, all right, welcome to my room. But that parent is going to, right, force that kid to mature just a little bit more because that abusive parent didn't know how to be a parent. So they're pretty much teaching that kid, you know, grow up faster. That sucks. That's terrible. And I'm not defending that. But you get what I'm saying? It's just things in life and due time have to happen. And it's terrible. I'm not even gonna sit here and say, oh, that's a good thing. Nah. If someone told me, wait, my arm had to be broken, uh-uh. Also, thank you so much for the heart. I appreciate it. I'm like, whoa, my arm had to be broken? What do you mean my arm had to be broken? Just like, well, if your arm didn't break, right? At age 7, your arm would have been broken at age 27. And it would have been worse. Because you had to learn, when you do that elbow drop off your bed, don't do that. Because if you did at 27, it would have took you a lot longer to heal from that pain. See, better to have a broken arm at 7 than at 27, because at 27, it's going to take a while for your arm to heal. But at 7, you can bounce back in like a week or so. I found caught about WWE stuff. Ooh, yeah, WWE Evolution was good. Main event was good. I'm proud of Naomi, and Raw was interesting. It's great to see the OTC is back. Oh yeah, NXT should be appearing, should be coming on just like with AEW Wednesday. Also, everyone meet Goldberg had a fantastic last match, and we wish Charles Robinson, the best of healings when it comes to his part of his rib being broken. But I'm pretty sure that the doctors are gonna help him out and whatnot. So, but yeah, it's all good. I listen to other YouTubers like C Jax and whatnot, and they pretty much, they educate me about what's going on with the booking and whatnot, and they give their good opinions and facts. So, and I feel like Triple H is just at a time in his life where he's just realizing that, hey, everything that Vince McMahon's doing, his dad, his stepdad, it ain't as easy as it seems. So it's a humbling experience for him. You know, sometimes we look at things and we're like, well, this person, man, they just don't know what they're doing. But we don't realize that maybe that lesson of humiliation is not really for us, it's for that person. So they can come, so they can go to that person in secret and be like, hey, man, you're right. I'm sorry. What do I do? And yada, yada. We've all had that moment where we like, oh, I'll show you. I can do this better than you. And then you have that moment where you're like, dang, I can't, you know. See, I want to start my wrestling fantasy booking thing so I can write my own show. Go for it. Learn from it, have fun, and as long as you don't expect perfection, but semi perfection, you're gonna be golden. You're gonna be great. So just like for tomorrow, with if you would like to, you can show up if you want. It's up to you. Starts at 7:30 p.m. Um, I'm gonna be hosting the Bad Blood pay per view, on VR chat, and I already have the match cards and whatnot. We already got the storylines down. And not everyone got to do their promos and everything how we wanted, but we're going to take the good with the bad and put on a good show. And then after that, we're going to just enjoy the rest of our night. And it's going to be 2 nights. It's going to be Wednesday and Thursday, 7:30 p.m. I just don't quite know how to set up a mechanic for like morale and injury. It's the same as telling a story. You have a character, you need a beginning, middle, end. Give them a purpose. Give them a drive. R32C, welcome to my realm. Give them, you know, a character. Give them a personality. Give them friends. Give them enemies. Give them someone they can rely on. Add some trauma. Add some betrayal. Make them feel real without adding so much realism. So, like, my character went through a revenge arc. Now he's going through a rehabilitation arc. Now he's going through a corruption arc, a betrayal arc. And then he's going to slowly go back to being that full face arc. But it's built up slowly. It's just like life, When I was young, I dealt with, it was just, me, father, mother, to me and mother and brothers, and then it was there to now me, mother, and that's it. And learning who we could truly trust after we dealt with loss and lessons. It's built. It was built up slowly. It wasn't just bam, 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 done. Every every chapter, right, doesn't always start the same. Some start off peaceful. Some start off tragic. But in every story, there's always some level of peace there. What I'm trying to say is, when you write a character, it's just like with a story. Think about a person that mostly inspired you while using your imagination and while adding just a little logic, so that way people can look at this character and say, I see what they're coming from. I feel their pain. I hear them. They're not explicitly telling the audience, they're showing them through wrestling, through the training, through their tears, through their emotions. It's told through their actions. It's told through their promos. That's why when Hangman Adam Page won at AEW All In Texas, Boxer, welcome to my realm, it made sense. When Dean Ambrose, aka John Moxley, was fighting so hard against, Hangman Adam Page, it made sense because those two have been going at it for a while. It was built up slowly. I'm not gonna lie, AEW's booking has been kind of messy, but yet somehow, some way, they still made a way to give us one of the best wrestling pay-per-views ever. Gotta think about how MJF was built. Bowtie, welcome to my realm. You gotta think about how, Sting was built. You gotta think about how a lot of these wrestlers were built. You gotta think about how jobbers built. Jobbers even have storylines. There's some jobbers who go from jobber to mid card to main star because they elevated themselves. And then there's just some who are just content being a jobber. Hey, I just want to do this for fun and that's that. And then you got those say, I want to be a mid card. I want to, win the IC title or the simply put, story, give them a plot, beginning, middle, end, and make it make sense. That's what I tell my broski all the time, my friend. I tell him when you write a story, make sure the character makes sense. So you don't just wake up, right, and that character can do 60,000 push-ups. That's not realistic. I mean, technically you could do it, but your arm's gonna hurt afterwards. I mean, you can do 60,000 push-ups if you want to. I remember when I did a challenge where I did 1,000 crunches and my legs didn't want to cooperate. I had to wait at least a good day and a half for my legs to want to cooperate again. That's realism. You know, it's just storytelling requires experience. One of the main lessons that someone taught me, an elder, was you want to write a good story, look around you. Your ideas are everywhere. Be around people, ask questions, talk to people, stop being scared. If you deal with a bad situation, good. Take it as a lesson. Go around, try again with somebody else, and the next person, and the next person, and the next person, and then you take those moments, you write them down, and then you come up with some characters. You add your little imagination, you do your little research, and bam, there you go. That's how we have so many amazing games like Castle Crashers and Pedal Crash and Godzilla, Power Rangers, all based off of real life experiences transformed to imagination to others and of course to yourself, and that's how you build upon stories. So if you need any more inspiration, Ari, you can even ask your husband this. Look up wrestling documentaries and just get a pen and paper and just start writing down notes. You can feel their pain, feel, the excitement. You can feel the disappointment, you know. Like, for example, I didn't know when I was watching the Evolution documentary, for like WWE, that Batista and Randy Orton and Ric Flair were like hard on themselves. I didn't know that. Well, when I saw them guys, I was like, man, they're confident. They got it all together. Vince knows what he's doing. No, there was moments where Vince McMahon was like, this is a stupid idea. There were moments where, Triple H was like, my main focus is trying to get Ric Flair back on his grind. Hey, homie, how's it going? You know, to see that pain, in those wrestlers, it's just crazy. Like I never knew that they struggle so much. They come out there in the ring and they're just confident or doing all these moves. Hey, I appreciate you, man. I really do. Make sure y'all check out my homie. I've been knowing him for over 10, going 11 years. Fall for life. He's been very supportive of me. And it's just like, But the one that shot me most was Ric Flair, the legend himself. How he was talking about he was losing faith in himself when he came to the WWE, how he missed WCW, and it was just maddening. Like, what? How Batista hurt himself and he had to go through all this intense training, and the doctor told him, "Oh, I don't know if you can come back." And when Randy Orton hurt himself, and Triple H and his ego at the time, he had to put his ego to the side to help Randy Orton, Batista, Ric Flair, because he's not the one to like really put people over. The harsh lessons that he learned about when he buried Booker T, like how it still haunts him to this day. But all of that builds these amazing, wrestlers. Triple H, Booker T, Batista, Randy Orton, John Cena, CM Punk, AJ Styles, um, the Briscoes. It's just that. And thank you so much for the roast. Like it's a long, tiring process, but when you just take the time to allow yourself to learn to others and talk to people and get that knowledge, you're going to create some of one of the best stories. That's why WWE Evolution was amazing. What you saw WWE Evolution was storytelling. The storytelling between Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. The storytelling between Naomi, who finally got her chance to be an actual world champion. That storytelling. And that's what makes pro wrestling so amazing. That's why I'm so invested in. That's why I love it so much, because those stories, man. Like I was watching an old video, right, of Kurt Angle versus Stone Cold. This one was Stone Cold, right? He was part of the, what was it, the Combined Alliance or whatever they called themselves. It was Stone Cold, being part of Team WCW, ECW, and you got Kurt Angle, who was like part of like he was one of the members, I think, the leader of WWE. And those two just put on such a good match. Like, oh my God, it was just punches and punches and technical wrestling. And, I was seeing Stone Cold doing moves that I was like, wait a minute, he can do that. So, and Kurt Angle put Stone Cold in the ankle lock. When he first went heel with the Alliance, yes, yes, just absolutely, yes. Yeah. Uh, but yeah. But that's just all I was gonna say, Ari. But I mean, honestly, that's the best way. And thanks so much for the roses, Ari. I appreciate it. And that's the best way to describe it with anyone. Like, I even have to remind myself that, and this is why I love watching movies and anime, because I don't watch stuff to like, you know, oh man, that character. Da, da. I watch it for the experience, the lessons. I mean, that's just how we Virgos are. We like to get the experience. We like to get the lesson. And that's why we have those oh see, everyone else, they'll laugh and we'll laugh, but when we get that lesson, we're like, oh. But yeah. So changing the subject, I'm gonna pretty much talk a little bit about the Tyler Perry movie, and then we'll go ahead and close shop. And then maybe I'll play a little bit of Tony Hawk. So when I was watching the new Medea movie, the lesson that I got from that movie, it was so powerful. Now give me a moment, because I gotta get this right. One of my favorite scenes, because I have a lot of them. So spoiler, I apologize. It was when Medea had the conversation with the mother and her daughter. And I related to this scene so much because it was kind of like something where a family member did this to my mom, and my mother did not like it at all. But when I saw it, I was like, oh. So she would ask the question of blah, blah, blah about getting married and whatnot. And she kept asking the daughter, what do you think? Keep in mind, this is a grown woman. What do you think? And the daughter kept repeating what the mother was saying. This was frustrating Medea. Medea was trying to tell the woman's name by the name of Deborah, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to her. How do you feel about this? Do you trust him? Tell me, and I will leave you alone. And she was like, "Well, I don't know." And when I saw, I was like, "What?" The big lesson is what you think and what you say matters throughout the whole situation, even if you feel like it doesn't. That lesson, man, hit me so hard because she kept asking one more. She kept asking over and over. She was saying, "What is it that you think? What is it that you think?" And the moment she says, "Look, I'm happy, yada yada," and I'm gonna be honest with you, you're stressing me out. I need some space. And everyone backed off. I was like, "Whoa!" And it was not what she said; it was how she said. It. And I was like, "Wow, that was powerful." But the way how Tyler Perry put it together was good because it was, Medea being the instigator, because yes, sometimes Virgos can be like that. Those are the toxic ones. Constantly asking the question, but what do you think? What do you think? And when she finally stood up, everyone stopped and they backed off. It was a very beautiful scene. And I love how it all played out. It was just, and that's it. I'm not going to spoil the rest of the movie. Like seriously, you need to watch it. It's called Medea's Destination Wedding. I love this movie. It was really good. I recommend it. I'm questioning whether if I should put it on my top 10 movies for this year or honorable mention, because I know a lot of people they like to harp on top 10 movies and everything, but that movie right there, oh my goodness, that was absolutely. I was blown. I loved it so much. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this again. I'm gonna watch this again, and it's available on Netflix. But yeah, I want to watch it again because, like, wow! Not only was it funny, but it really, had those moments like, teaching parents about what happens when you forget certain lessons, and what happens when you allow yourself to be exposed to certain things. And have you seen Cyberpunk Edge Runners? I've seen the ending, and I know the ending's very emotional, and I know that the anime is really good. If are they bringing it back with another season? But yeah, that's all I was gonna say about the Medea movie. Oh, they are. When's that coming out? Maybe I can get one of my friends to watch it with me. Excuse me, maybe host an event or something. I didn't realize I was talking for almost 2 hours. I want to at least keep it at 2 hour mark. You have to watch it from start to ending. I will put that on my to do list. I will definitely do that. Let's see what we got here. Cyberpunk Edge Runners. Season 2. Okay, so this is a week ago. It's announced. So that's why Guilty Gear Strive is announcing that character. Sorry, releasing that character, Lucy. I had a feeling. Okay. When's the release date for season 2? Or is it already out? Or has it just been confirmed? It'll be even sadder and bloodier. Oh no, I know it's confirmed, but when's the release date for season 2? That's what I'm trying to figure out. so no one knows. It would be cool if I don't know if Cyberpunk Edge Runner season 2 actually has like a guilty gear character in one of the episodes because yes, Superman Fantastic Four, nice. I'll definitely check that out. Cyberpunk Edge Runners because I've seen the ending, but I didn't get the chance to like watch the episodes because busy and stuff. I've heard about the Superman movie. The only complaint, yes, I know. Oh, Virgo said complaint. The only issue I have with that movie is that it's not entirely focused on Superman. I feel like if it was just entirely focused on Superman and, you know, a villain and Crypto's fine. I think that would have been a more powerful movie. But the fact, Zach, welcome to my realm. I feel like because the fact that they have to add all these other characters, it's like, I don't know. I mean, if Marvel could do it with Deadpool, even though they had to add some like side characters here and there, then I don't know what the excuse with you know, because they did this before, like Batman v Superman, where it was supposed to be, excuse me, a Superman movie, but they said no, we're gonna do Batman v Superman. I don't know. I don't know why they just won't focus only on one character, right? But they got to add this character, Ultraman, and the old school version of the Justice League. It's just like what, like too many characters. Like calm down. You can do it, but it's just like it. And me personally, it would be nice if I could actually see a Superman movie with just Superman, the villain. That's pretty much it. Just that's my favorite Deadpool Wolverine. My favorite movie was Logan, which I saw when I met my wife. Aw, but yeah, welcome back, Ari. But yeah, it's just like if only they just focused on Superman. I just feel like it would have been a more powerful movie. And like I get why people are like frustrated, but they like the movie, but they're kind of like, I don't know, should I like the movie? Should I not like the movie? I don't know. It's just like I get it, I really do get the frustration. Personally, I do. It's just like Hollywood's gonna be Hollywood, and Hollywood at this point is just doing whatever they can to make the money. They ain't really worried about don't brings and the two into the beach. Welcome to my realm. That's an interesting name. I mean, but what do y'all think? I honestly don't know. I'm gonna be real with you. I heard the movie's good, and that's good enough for me. I heard the movie was good. I heard it's got some mixed feedback, but hey, that to me is good enough because I'm at a point in my life where I don't even know. What do you think about this? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Did you see the Knuckles TV show? Oh yeah, I did. I did a whole little event where I watched the Sonic 1 movie, Sonic 2, and the Knuckles TV show. And I want to thank everyone who showed up and were just showing support and were just loving and you know and the motivational speech from Grim, and I was happy to be able to help them out with their little situation. It was just a beautiful experience. And I'll never forget that. It just it was a very emotional experience. it was emotional, man. I was crying and stuff. So that's all I can say about that. I am so tempted to get this, but I'm gonna wait. Give me something to look forward to. I am gonna wait because I got all these lovely skaters here, new skaters, old skaters, free skate, 20 pro skater for a water park, shipyard, London, zoo, so a water park. I'm not sure if y'all can hear anything. If y'all can't, just give me un momento, por favor. Ugh. But hopefully, with the success of the Superman movie, they can make a DC movie that just focuses on one character. Again, I'm old school, so I'm used to like if a movie's about someone, they don't add all these other extra characters. You know, if the movie says Pink Panther, I expect Pink Panther. You know, and I'm gonna give you a good example that gets this right. All right, this is from the new generation, and I watched this on my birthday last year. Transformers One. Oh my goodness! From the plot, from the action scenes. Megatron, the one movie that made me love Megatron. That version of Megatron, I fell in love with. He was awesome, and that one scene where he said, "I am done helping you." Oh, that I had tears. I felt that. I felt that. I was like, "Oh my god." But, 'cause that's how Virgos be when they had enough. And I thought about reenacting that scene, before I retired the pony with somebody, but I couldn't find any of my full body tracking friends that were available to do that. I was gonna find a world, and uh, I was gonna be the pony, and you know, and I was gonna have like add my own ad lib to it, and it's just kind of like it was gonna pretty much be like the alternate ending to like one of my I'm just a DM away, and it was just gonna be like I'm done saving you, and it's just like something like that. So, and the plot was going to be where um, this friend, caused a lot of drama and caused, me to get banned and everything. And he say, "Man, I really need your help, and you were never there for me." Da 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 da. And then I was gonna have that scene where it's like a flashback. Of course, that was gonna be a lot of editing on my part. And then it was just gonna go silent, and it's just gonna be me like unveiling my mask close up to the face, just saying, "I'm done saving you." And then it's just the moment that I just drop them, it's just shows like block. Like it's just like block, unfriend. Like everywhere. And it just shows like a flashback of like all the good things I'd done for them, and you know. So it was gonna be like a really emotional TikTok. I canned the idea. I canned it because I couldn't find nobody that had like full body to help me because everyone was busy. So because I try reaching out, but people are just busy. Like I tried reaching out to people in the past, like, hey, can you help me with this TikTok, or you know, or like, do you want to do a TikTok? Well, I never asked anyone for help with a TikTok. I just asked them like simply like, do you want to do a TikTok? And it's like I don't know. Like people just they either didn't care or they just didn't want to do it. Just checking on my family member. She's good. But yeah, that's what I want to do. Like I had so many ideas for TikTok. See, what I want to do originally before everything that transpired with my mother and the chemotherapy and personal stuff. I'm not gonna put my business out there like that because that's personal, and please respect our privacy when it comes to that. Um, I had a plan where I was gonna do like an end of Y project where I was gonna slowly kill off the pony. Where I was gonna have all these video ideas. I was getting all my friends, my friends that are like big timers and whatnot, and those that were like upcoming big timers, and I was going to like give them a script and say, hey, I need y'all help with this. Here's y'all script. Here's the scene. Record this, give it to me, and then and then I can handle the rest. But before I did this, I test this out with the Castle Crashers project, and I test this out by saying, okay, let me see how many times I got to keep reaching out to people. Let me see who has my back. Let me see who's actually going to actually help me out, and I will give credit where credit is due. Crystal, what was it? Crystal Fox, Crystal Bunny, Crystal Puppy. A huge thank you. You were the only one that actually, alerted your whole crew about the project, and I want to thank you for that. I really do. You were the only one that did that, honestly, in your server. So I'll never forget that. Oh, I think the live disconnected, but the live disconnected doesn't matter because I am on the other platform, so it don't matter. Yeah, I'm still live on the other platforms. It says it's disconnected, but I'm still here. Whatever. I don't know if y'all can hear me, but oof. Oh, okay, yeah, it was just probably an error on TikTok's end. But yeah, that was pretty much what I want to do. So what I'm gonna do now is find some artists and whatnot, and just some people to see if they are still somewhat interested. And I'm just gonna have a collage of like me as the opponent. So what I'm gonna do is pretty much kind of like an Easter egg. If I'm on a VR chat and people see me as the pony, they will have to ask me one question about me, and or I'll ask them a question. If they get it right, then I will stay as the pony. If they get it wrong, I will change out of the pony and just go back to my new persona. Because again, the whole part is that the pony is dead, but people will still see me as the pony. They see me as the pony and they call me out saying, "Why are you still the pony?" I'm gonna ask a question. If they get the answer right, I will stay the pony. If they get the answer wrong, I will change out of it. So that's just gonna be something fun I'm gonna do for VR chat. Or if they get it wrong, I'll just change into like a roleplay character or something. But I'm only gonna do this towards those that that are not on my friends list. If they're on my friends list and they really just truly want to know who I am and whatnot, I will change it to the pony. So I'm really excited for this change. And the artists are like, oh man, we can't, we're really happy to work on this model and whatnot. It's just, it's great. I'm happy. They're happy, and I can't wait to show off the avatar. But I just want them to be patient because here's the thing. Technically, it's done, but it's not done to how I want it. And I know, like, don't be a perfectionist and whatnot. I get that, but this is something I'm really passionate about. But yeah. Also, if people want to like still draw fan art of Pony, they can. If they ask me to like react to it, I'm just gonna say, "Huh, that reminds me of somebody," you know, just being nonchalant about it. Also, fun fact: there was a someone that I knew, right? They will always call me Pony, and I never understood why they could just never just call me by my name. Like my name is not that hard to memorize, so I always just find that odd when people call me something that's not my name. Like at first I didn't care, but now that the pony's gone, I just want people to just call me, you know. by whatever I need them to call me by. It's just a form of respect. And that form of respect was never really given. So I was like, all right, this is getting ridiculous. All right, let's see if I can get the high score. Ah! All right. Oh, no. I will say the one thing that I don't understand about the Tony Hawk remake games is why. Yeah, that. Emmy Hubbard, 100. Welcome to my realm. Like, I don't understand why. Also, Jordan, welcome to my realm. They got rid of the whole allowing the character to just get up or like to get angry. They just said, "Oh, you fell, and we're just gonna rewind time." Like, I get it's a blast from the past, but it's just kind of, you see what I mean? Like, it's an odd design choice, but I don't mind. It's fine. I think it's funny. Welcome back, Ari. Yeah, and I know my broski's like, "Oh my goodness!" I know my broski's like messaging me about the show, but I already told him like, look, like you're in the Discord, you're in the group chat. If you can't check those two and you don't want to accept what I have to say, then I gotta just look at you and be like, what I say is final. If you want to try to go against that, then I don't know what to tell you. If I said we're not doing a show tonight, you gotta respect that. And if you want to go against that, I'm just gonna look at you and be like, no, you're not gonna tell me what to do. You know, my decision is final. I said, due to unforeseen circumstances, that could be me having to deal with my family member or whatnot, you know? It could be, heaven forbid, an emergency with my dog, having to take her to the vet. No show. Now, if they want to put on a show without me, go for it. I don't care. But just don't expect me to be there. So, like, technically speaking, because he does run Raw now. If he wants to put on a show, go for it. But I'm not going to be there. He's going to figure it out. Because I already told him I'm not going to be there. When people want to act like they don't hear you, you got to make them hear you. And that takes practice to deal with people like that. They're not bad people. It's just sometimes you got to, like, not say anything. If you already told them once, like, hey, it's like with your job. You're like, hey, you gave them a 3-week notice. I'm going to be off for the whole weekend. I put in my PTO, and they want to act like, okay, come in. And the higher up already told you, you're good. But someone tells you, can you come in? You don't respond. It's just that simple. You just don't respond. That's a life skill. Welcome back, Jesse. That's a life skill, and that takes time to learn. Anyway, so yeah, I'll definitely check out Cyberpunk and what time is it? It is 8 o'clock. Dang. Surprisingly enough, I need to eat something again. I think I'll just eat some vegetables because I already had enough heavy food. Oh, I already know I love it. I mean, heck, my friends talk to me about it and everything. It's just having the time. Because now at our job, we can't, do certain things anymore. So that's what I'm saying. And usually I will take my time with my job, when I'm not busy and I take care of everything and everything's clean. To, you know what? Let me just relax my mind after, just for like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock and just watch something, Not the whole shift, just like, 4 here, maybe watch an episode 2 here, and then that's it. 2 full times, grace your heart. Grace your heart. But hey, got a lot of money. You better pay those bills. And you have two different experiences. And with everything going on in the world and negativity in the news, count it as joy. You get to get away from the house. I mean, that's how I would look at it. 64,000. I'm gonna see if I can get at least 100,000. Oh no! 78,000. I mean, it's the truth, you know. Like sometimes I'll be like, man, and usually I don't act like this. Like, man, I just can't wait to get home. And then you get home and you hear some negativity in the news or whatever, some new policy or some executive order, and it's just like, oh, you know what? Aaron, how's it going? Welcome to my realm. Also, the pony, you know, when I was a pony, I would say howdy hey and have an intro and stuff. The whole thing is my new persona is just neutral with everything, but open. Neutral, but open. But wasn't a pony like that? More like on the optimistic side. Like I'm optimistic like IRL, but you know. Well, does the new persona do boops? See, that's what I'm saying. You know, I want to take it slow. I want to take it very, very slow. Because I know how some of my friends are, and when they like to do or act a certain way, I would just go back to the pony. Like, only with my friends that I know, I'll say, all right, here you go. But, you know, or like another character. Oh, if the music is playing, then I am just cooked. Because YouTube wanted to literally mute my whole VOD because of the music. So let me go back. They should have a streamer option for this. The fact, oh, there is streamer mode. Here we go. But I'm just gonna turn it all the way down to 1. Sorry. You know how YouTube is. You know how the red is. You know how they can be. No fun allowed. Ugh. Oh.
Battery full. Ready to connect. PC 2025210623. Connected to PC 2025210623.
Yeah, this is great. Silent Hawk. Woo! I want to play Tony Hawk games. And then they wonder why no one plays the Tony Hawk games or stream anymore because of this reason. Oh! Oh, 85,000! Out. Oh. The joke's on them because I can listen to my music. Well, unfortunately, y'all have to listen with silence. So if y'all have any questions about the pony, feel free to ask. So you can still ask. All you have to do is just say the old name. this? Oh, my glasses. Ah, dang. Ugh. I can't bend my knees as much anymore. So how my boy Chad Muska sounds now? That's the case. He's showing his age. Ah, the sock. Perfect landing. All right. Time to do some missions. What we got here? All right. Let's do it. All right. Achieving a high score is easy. At least for me. Told you. Pro score, baby. And a 6 score. And I fell. Ah! Mm. Mm. 57 seconds left. Oh! Ah! Ah! What's the letter A? It would be funny, you know, if they added like an animation where if Doom keeps falling off the skateboard, he just gets like incredibly angry. Got it. Oh, no way! It's interesting how I still remember how to play this game. It's one of those games where I practiced and played it so many times that I still remember. Welcome back, Jesse. Uh-oh. Okay. That is horrifying. No! Ah! High score done. Pro score, 6 score, high combo, collect skate. Bam! Look at that. Woo! Indy over the half pipe. Grind the molten bucket. Unjam 5 valves. Get the secret tape. Ah, the secret tape. Dang, I forgot what the secret tape is. Are unlocked a new part? What? Okay. Say what? Ouch. What do you think about Roman Reigns' return? It was expected. Nothing really shocking, but I was happy to still see him. It was like, oh, he's back! But yeah. Ah! Dang, I already completed the pro score, Rick. And I got low. Dang. One of the 5 skaters impressed. Well, they're talking to someone who's been playing the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games for a while, so. Ain't really a. Ooey eye junkie. Welcome to my room. I don't understand the OTC one, so maybe if Roman Reigns like explains that in a promo, maybe that's just a message to Solo saying, "I am the only OTC, and that's it, and there'll never be another OTC like me." Don't you mean kick your ass? Or kick your gluteus? Oh no! I just missed the letter T. I missed the letter T like Mr. T. No! What do you mean? Oh! What? Ah! T. What is this? Oh, it's hurt my nose. No! Woo! Yeah, I gotta retry the level. But yeah, OTC 1. So what's that gonna make Solo in the future? OTC 2? I don't know. Speaking of Roman Thunderstate, welcome to my realm. Welcome to my realm. Baller, welcome to my realm. Alright, what am I supposed to do? Over here talking, lend me a couple of bucks. You know, good and darn well. Ah! You don't make no couple of bucks. Oh! I got a stab point. Dang. The heck? Hang on. Now, this is a song I haven't heard for in a while. Hmm. I'm gonna have to end stream in like 3 minutes. I'm gonna.
Hey, Will. I'm wanting to VC with you about Bad Blood tomorrow, so we can talk about the match cards and how we're gonna do everything and what the plan is. So, are you free right now to VC? Can we talk about matches and everything? Because I would appreciate that.
Give me 1 second. Uh, 2 minute break. Okay, one more run and then I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Yeah, I just had to answer some messages. Dang. Ow. There we go. Sorry, it's just some odd smell. It was like really hurt my nose. I don't know if that came from the bathroom or what. I'm good now. Ah! Well, this is the first the NPCs are making fun of me. I don't appreciate that very much. Oh! 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 Dang it. Okay, well, that's gonna be it for me when it comes to streaming. It's been 2 hours and 34 minutes and counting, and I am going to go ahead and send you on off to whoever y'all usually like to listen to. This is your naturally born hated Virgo speaking.